What's up, guys? So in the last GTO video that you would have seen, I was doing bodywork on it. Since then, I've been doing some bodywork off camera just because it's boring and you guys don't want to see the same thing over and over again. So I figured I'd get some stuff done, make a video and show you guys what I've done, and then try to get some more things done today. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, before we get started looking at the GTO, and I'll show you what I did and what we're gonna hopefully get done today, I thought I'd show you these connecting rods I bought. So they're Gen 4 connecting rods from a 6.2, which are the same as like a 6 liter or 5.3. Same rods. I picked them up for 60 bucks, complete set. They look in really nice shape. I don't really need them, but I figured I might as well buy them just for a spare set. I'm starting to collect parts to where I could actually build another whole engine, actually, because I got those. I got the pistons from the 5.3 shit horse engine, the crank. I have a set of 243 heads. All I really need is a block, and I could technically put a whole another engine together for a spare for one of the cars or whatever, who knows. But you can't turn down a good deal, so I grabbed those. A guy dropped them off today, so that was cool. These are for the convertible top part of the interior. They go in here, kind of like around the convertible top. They need to be covered with material, which I actually have right here, which is actually like from the interior kit that I bought. But these were rusty. Well, these were rusty on the back side. They were also rusty on this side. Now this foam, or not foam, I don't know what it is, felt covering is on there, I guess, so that it's not metal on material. This one actually was off, and it was really rusty, so I sandblasted it, cleaned it up with a flap wheel, painted them. So those are ready to go together. I figured I might as well clean them up. No point leaving something with rust on it. What else did I do? This fender's done. Everything that I was bodyworking here, it's all good now. Any of those little spots that were here are good now. Anything that was here is good. All the hood here. I ended up putting a whole thin coat, I think I might have showed that in the last video, over this fender and sanding it out and getting it nice and straight. I also fixed, there was a spot here, that's all fixed up. And then where that door had a crack in it, that's fixed too. So I got all that fixed up, and pretty much that was the same as the last video, just filling and sanding type of thing, and that's why I didn't even bother recording. Now I'm working on this quarter. I've done some work on it. I put some body filler in here where there was that low spot, but now there's, after I sanded it all, I actually found a high spot here, a high spot here a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I got to sand some filler today here, and then this whole lower quarter I'm going to put like a thin coat on and then block it smooth. There's also here still I haven't even sanded, and here, and then also here's where the quarter panel meets this sail panel, I guess they call it, or not sail panel. Well, it's the whatever rear trunk filler panel, whatever they call it. It's supposed to be smooth, but and it was, but then actually it developed a crack, which is really weird. But over the last, since I did the bodywork on it, you know, 6 years ago, it just developed a little crack. And actually, when I stripped the car the first time, there was a crack there. So I don't know if it's something common for them to crack there, but obviously the car hasn't been driven other than me jacking it up and moving it around. So I ended up grinding this out, putting some heavy fiberglass in there, and then I'll smooth this out and put a coat of body filler on top. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to get done today, is get that stuff done, maybe hopefully get this whole quarter done, because once the quarter's done, then pretty much the body's ready for primer again. And I also want to glue that backing onto these and possibly even put the material on today, see if I can figure out how to do it. I've already done some of the other panels and they turned out okay, so that one should turn out okay. And then I pulled these headlight buckets out, and I'm kind of mad at myself for not filming it. You can't see it now, but there was a dent like right here. I'll try to find one. This one has some dents, like right there's a little dent, and then there's actually a dent here that goes up instead of down. And there's a couple other small dents, but this one was actually pretty bad, and I actually just, you might be able to see if you look in close there where it's all chewed up looking. That's where I like hammered it with a hammer and a screwdriver, and then I worked it with sandpaper until the dent was gone. So that's also something I'm going to start on today, or keep going on today, is these. Get all the little dents out, sand them. I'm using like 150 grit, then I'll go to like 320 and then 400 and 600 and 1000, whatever. Get them pretty smooth and then polish them. These apparently are, they don't reproduce them, and trying to find a good set. If you, I mean, these ones are pretty good, but if you were to try to find a minty set, they're super expensive, like all the other 71 type specific parts on this car. Also got this piece here that's for the convertible top where the cover slides in. I'm gonna sandblast that today and paint it, get that ready. I found that up in the rafters, so I'm trying to like find all these small parts that need to get prepared to put on the car for when the car is actually painted in together. So yeah, let's do some more. I got this spray adhesive stuff. So they say to pretty much let this stuff dry and then attach the two pieces. So we'll let it dry and then we'll attach them. Just put this on. There's actually, I guess, a bolt hole or whatever right here. I don't know what that's for, mind you, because there's no, I don't think there's any bolts right there, but. I had to put some tape on here because this thing actually ripped. It was, I guess I glued it on before, but I didn't glue it on really good. So then I was pulling it off to sandblast it and it tore a little bit. So I just put some tape on there to hold it into the shape that it's supposed to be. But that looks pretty good. Like I said, I guess this is just a little bit of padding for the material. This material goes on somehow like this and then gets glued on also. Sorry if it seems like I'm jumping around on the car, but sometimes it gets boring doing the bodywork, so try to do some other things, break the monotony of just sanding. So I figured since I sandblasted these, I should get these ready, and then once they're all together, they can go in the house with the rest of the interior and be ready to like go on the car for when it's done. Pretty much you take the material, line it up good, kind of figure out where it needs to be on there. There is a seam right here that you can see fits right in, so then you line up this seam all the way down, kind of line it up. Then I gotta like pull the material and figure I have to trim it a little bit here around this little bracket, and then there's another little bracket here, and then there's a bracket here. So some of this has to be cut, and then when you go to fit this, you're gonna have to like slice this and then fold it over, and this has to be glued. And from what I read on the can is it says to like spray on a coat, let it dry for 5 minutes, then put on another coat and go kind of in the opposite. So if you go this way with the coat, go this way with it, and do it like 2 or 3 times, letting it dry 5 minutes in between before you put the material on, and then plus put it on the material and the part, and this way it'll really like bond good. I did the other panels that kind of go below these before, and I guess I didn't glue them good enough, and they're sitting in my basement. They're starting to come apart kind of, so I'm gonna have to re-glue those ones. But I'm hoping to get this one done right, and then can move on to the other ones and redo them and get them good too. So yeah, I'm gonna take a razor blade and I'm just gonna kind of like figure where I need to cut. Okay, so there you go. Now that's around there. So I'll do the rest of these and sort of get it fitted. I kind of want to get it fitted first, then I'll take it apart, glue it, and then I'll start assembling it. Probably glue this down first, get it good, so that seam is nice, and then start working. Like I'll have to pull the material down and like fold it over like this, you know, so that it's nice and tight. So yeah, I'll cut these and then kind of get it set up to glue it. I cut around all these brackets. There's one here, here, and then for this stuff I like cut little cuts in it so that it can be bent over here, and then all in here, and then all around here. It's actually got some little teeth here that dig in, and like from here probably somewhere the back seat covers it, so you know, but you still got to get this all taped down nice, glued down nice. But I think I have it marked out good or cut out good, so now I should be able to take these clamps off and spray glue it, and then let it dry, spray it, let it dry, spray it, let it dry, and then be able to start assembling it. So that's what I'll do now. This is the tricky part. Of course, I had it in there really good with the, it's already pretty sticky. I had it in there really good when I was fitting it. Now I just have to get it back in the way I had it. There's a little bit of a crease here. I'll have to see if I can work that out, but otherwise it looks pretty good. It turned out really good. And then actually on this one here, I've already put them on, but there's this one, it goes here and one goes here, and that's for the boot cover that goes on. So I had to dig them up. I wasn't sure where they were. And then these are the other pieces that go below, like this goes like basically like this when it's all together, something like that, whatever. So these are the ones I did before, and as you can see, I glued them and none of it held. Like some of it held, but most of it didn't hold. So I just redid that one there, doing the same process, gluing it, holding it, or gluing it, letting it dry, gluing it, and then putting it all together. And so far that one looks good. I just put these clamps on to help hold it, even though I don't think it's necessary really, but I put it on anyways. And then I'm gonna do this one right away too. I'm just putting these little chromies on here. So I got this pick, and then I just have to find the hole here, poke it through. There's that one. Here's the light. I put reproduction new lenses in, and then up here I added a little padding, and if you look right here, that's where the ashtray used to be. There's supposed to be an ashtray that goes here, but no one's ever going to smoke in here, and I don't smoke, so I think it'll look nicer without them. So I just welded up the patch, and then I obviously didn't cut it out when I did the upholstery part of it. So yeah, I'm going to get this one ready, or this one ready, and glue it, and then this stuff will be done. This one, just like the other side, I'm just clamping it to hold it into place, but it glued on really tight, just like these ones. So those are done, so that's good. I sandblasted this piece right here, which is for the convertible top also, so I'm going to give that a paint job. Like I said, just trying to get all this small stuff done that needs to get done. While I was looking for those chrome little thingies, I found the bolts. All these bolts right here are to mount the convertible top frame. So I already sandblasted these ones, so you can kind of see the before and the after. And these are all kind of like specific bolts. You got these little teeth that dig in, these kind of weird looking ones, and then these clips which hold I think the hoses or something. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really remember, but it's been a while since I took it apart. But I'm going to get all those cleaned up. I also sandblasted, these are for the window chrome, but I'll probably end up getting new ones maybe, but I sandblasted them anyways. I'm missing a couple of those. And then this is a door for the, I think it goes on the kick panel, so I sandblasted that too. Gonna paint all that stuff up nice, get it all ready. I never really got at that quarter panel, but this stuff's got to be done. So like I said, it'll break it up a little bit, not having to do body work constantly. All right, so I threw the first coat of paint on these things. On this thing, looks really good. And then all the bolts here and this flap. And then I actually pulled the flap out of the other kick panel here, which needs to be sandblasted. The only thing that sucks is the rubber. See how this one has like rubber around it? This one was kind of rotted off. I looked on Original Parts Group, and they sell them in a pair for 28 bucks. The only thing that sucks is you have to, it's riveted together like two pieces, so you'd have to drill it to rivets and then I guess re-rivet it together. But I'll probably just clean it up and leave it, because I mean, it's not driven in the winter, so if there's I'm not too worried about a little bit of air coming in there. But I thought I'd show you guys something. I'll get my phone out here. While I was looking for that thing, I happened to look up pricing for some of the parts that I just finished restoring. So here is the bolt kit. $28.99 just for those 6 bolts. Here's that rail that I restored, or sandblasted and painted. $110 just for that. And those little tiny clips that I wasn't sure what they were for, they're for the hoses for the top. $35.99 each. So that's like $70 just for these 2 little tiny clips right here. So it's definitely worth taking the time to clean up and paint stuff like that. It's pointless to replace it if there's nothing wrong with it. All it needs is a cleaning. It's like these clips. I could get new ones, and I am missing a couple. But I mean, if I can sandblast these, clean them up, and reuse them, I'm using the original parts, which is good, and I'm saving money. So always something to think about when you're restoring a car, and when you're buying a car, it's something to think about when you go to look at an old Chevelle or Camaro or Nova or GTO or whatever. What's missing? Because if stuff's missing and you don't think about it, stuff like this, it can sure add up if you don't have all the parts. So one nice thing about this car is it was a complete driving car when I took it all apart. So I had all the pieces. It's just like these headlight rings. To buy new ones, which they don't reproduce them, so to find a set on eBay or something, it's going to cost you a lot of money. But if you got them and you can fix them, it's going to save you a lot of money. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Next time we'll get to work on the quarter, or maybe I'll finish that up off camera and show you guys when it's done. But we'll check you later.